Once the schematic is done, we need to carefully check it. Double check all the pins, connections, and power lines to make sure everything is correct. No mistakes allowed here. Use the DRC tool to check for errors. Once it passes, go to the top design menu and click Update Schematic to PCB. And hit Apply Changes. Now, all components from the schematic will be synced to the PCB layout. Before we start drawing the PCB, there is something important to understand. This board isn't like the usual ones where we can place parts however we want. This board has a custom enclosure. That means some components must go in specific positions. For example, some parts need to sit right at the edges of the board in very exact spots. You can go back and watch the finished product demo again. You'll see that once the enclosure is installed, the screen has to be positioned exactly in the window, so it must be placed correctly and face up to soldering. Same thing at the rear. Our ESP8266 chip is there. Its antenna must stick out and it can send and receive signals. The power switch also has to be accessible. It can't be buried. At the bottom of the Robotdog, there are servo motors. To make plugging and unplugging easier, their positions are also fixed along with headers they connect to. So in this case, we must strictly follow the provided coordinates. This isn't like our regular PCBs where we just get the outline close enough and start placing parts wherever we like. Here, that don't work. So where do we get placement constraints? Head back to the coordinate position table. I already prepared it for you. If you're good at 3D enclosure design, you can design your own and build a custom layout. But if you want to use our 3D shell, then just follow the coordinates exactly. Let's start drawing the board outline. Just drop a rectangle anywhere and then adjust the properties. Switch the unit to millimeters. Set the parameters like this. Conversion to x equals to 87.13. Y equals to 48.033. Width equals to 48.033 millimeters. Height equals to 87 millimeters. Line width equals to 0.254 millimeters. Corner radius is 3 millimeters. Rotation is 270 degrees. Hit enter and now your Robotdog board outline is locked in. Don't forget to lock in to prevent accidental moves. Here's a handy trick in EasyEDA. Standard shortcut keys, Shift and X is super useful. Select a component in the schematic, press Shift and X, and EasyEDA will highlight it in the PCB view. Or the other way around, select the footprint in PCB and press Shift and X to locate it in the schematic. Let's place the OLED screen first, using the coordinates from the table. X is 2.829. Y is 24.003. Rotation is 90 degrees, then lock it. Next is the ESP8266. Its antenna must stick out of the board for better signal. The power switch also extends out of the user to toggle easily. Follow the given coordinates and lock it in place. The step is sort of like replicating a reference layout, though not exactly. Some components are fixed due to the case, while others are up to your design. Then we have 2 routing slots for ribbon cables. These aren't actual components, they're cutouts in the PCB. Use place, then slot region to add them. Slot size is 18 by 4 millimeters. First one, X is 33.93, Y is 42.799, and rotation is 0 degrees. Copy and place the second one. X is 51.93, Y is 5.234, and rotation is 180 degrees. Lock both to prevent moving them by mistake. Basically, we're working with a PCB layout that has a mechanical engineer's clearance drawing baked in. We need to follow it carefully. Now let's place the servo headers. There are 4 in total. Start with the first one. It connects to IO14. Use the table to set the correct position and rotation. Once the first one is placed, repeat the same steps with the rest. Don't forget the battery holder. Find it, adjust its position and rotation, and lock it. Next, place the actual servos. They're installed at the bottom of the board, which you probably noticed in the demo. The mounting holes are on the other side. Set the servos to the bottom layer, then apply the coordinates and angles. There are 4 in total, do them one by one. Now we're done with the fixed components. Time to work on the rest. Select all the unplaced components, then press Shift plus P to enter area layout mode. Make sure you've locked all the fixed components first. Turn on 3D preview to check the remaining space. You'll quickly notice that the center area is completely taken up by the servos and battery holder. We're only left with the outer edges. This is exactly why we didn't use a DC-DC converter module. There just isn't enough space for it. Now it's time for manual layout. Auto layout won't work at all because we've got way too many placement constraints. Auto layout might dump components right inside the battery area, and that's a no-go. The battery holder needs that space. Let's start from the capacitors and resistors around the main chip, like the two caps near the ESP chip. Use Shift and X to find them and place them close. If the screen is too cluttered, try hiding the ground nets in the fly wires. Next, locate the 3.3 volt LDO. Check its pins and position it nearby. The 5 volt LDO will go on the bottom of the board. Leave just enough space there. Adjust nearby caps accordingly. Still a rough layout. We'll probably tweak it again once you start routing. As for the two extra buttons, they are mostly just for I/O expansion. You can place them far away if needed. Try to keep signal pins facing inward, not outward, toward the board's edge. For the rest of the components, it's a bit trickier. Use a schematic to place them nearby where they connect. Keep placing the smaller parts like resistors and capacitors. For instance, any resistor connected should be placed close by. For pin headers like debug and expansion headers, you can move the component around to see which pins it connects to. That helps find a good location. For lines like SDA and SEL, don't forget their pull-up resistors. Some modules already have them, so even if you skip soldering them, it might be fine. Components should be in place now, and the layout's pretty much done. Open the 3D preview and take another look. Make sure nothing's sitting in the battery holder area. Also, the OLED screen module is just a reference. During actual assembly, it stands upright, so don't trust the 3D model completely. Now it's time to fine-tune things. Use your arrow keys to nudge components and hit space to rotate. Keep things away from the silk screen or the battery zone. High current or analog paths, keep those routes short and straight. Try to line up resistors and capacitors to keep the board neat. Not only looks better, but also helps during soldering. There's no single perfect layout, just keep adjusting until your routing becomes smooth and practical. At this point, we're basically done with layout. Everything should be in place with no big problems. Let's finish up with some common questions. Can I switch components to SMD? Sure, that saves place, but you will have to solder them yourself. What are the servos on the bottom layer? That's because they clip into the case. They must go underneath. What if the switch overlaps the servo? Just trim the leads after soldering, it will still work fine. Does the antenna need to stick out? Not really. It fits inside a plastic case, but for a metal one, yes, it has to stick out.